Put your spatulas in the air. Wave them like you just don't care. Let's give a Tam Fam welcome to the incomparable, unstoppable Michelle Obama. So good to have you.
Oh, my goodness. Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction and for dedicating your show to cooking and having all those amazing young chefs in your viewer audience.
Aren't they adorable? Look at them. There they are. They're
They
all
are
waving at you.
amazing. Wow.
I love
Wow. Yay to you guys.
It's awesome. We've transformed the set. We have fresh vegetables and flowers, a little market in homage to this adorable show. Now, the last time I saw you, I have the picture. It was during the college signing day event a few years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, I've seen you on
Yes.
TV and on tour as well. How are you? Before we launch into the fun show, how are you?
I'm doing great. I mean, I am watching you too, girl. I am so proud of you and the work that you're doing. You are always forefront in making sure that what you do has meaning and purpose.
Oh.
And it's amazing to watch. And you are a mother to welcome to the parent tribe because it's crazy, isn't it?
Listen, one of the craziest things is trying to get them to eat. We're almost at age 2. Moses is 22 months, and now he's
Yep.
in the kitchen. In
Oh,
honor of you, we got him in the kitchen. There he is
oh
with his
my
little
God.
mini kitchen set. And I
He's
even
got a spatula.
he has a spatula and he's not afraid to use it. Listen, he we were in the kitchen, and then I said, come with me. I want you to watch this show. And I have a clip of Moses watching the first episode, and he kept repeating tomato and fruit. I
Yeah.
mean, he's now a fan of waffles and mochi. Did you know it would
Aw.
resonate this much with kids? When you first saw the treatment, did you think this
Yeah.
is it?
Well, it was about a year ago that the co-creators, Jeremy Connor and Erica Thormelin, came to me. Jeremy is a co-creator for Drunk History, so he brought the humor. And Erica is an early childhood educator. She brought the knowledge and the understanding about how you need to talk to kids. Jeremy was a young parent, just like a parent of a young child, just like you. And they both came and said, we want programming that not just kids will love, but parents will love.
Yeah.
And I thought, this is it. This is the kind, it brought the humor, the funny, the color, the energy. Waffles and mochi are just irresistible.
Yes.
So I kind of had a hint that this was going to be a hit because as a parent, I would have wanted to have this when my kids were younger. I would have wanted to have a Waffles and Mochi series. So it was easy to say yes to this one.
I tell people all the time, I learned so much when I had an opportunity to finally travel. My mother was a single mom at 19. Grew up in a
Yeah.
small town. Your life changes when you're able to
Yeah.
venture out your door, and you are taking the kids and their parents to places like Peru where they learn about salt. They may never have a
Mm,
passport stamp with Peru, but
That's right.
Mrs. Obama and
Hmm.
and Waffles and Mochi took them there.
Yeah. Well, there are many ways to feel quarantine, and poverty is a life sentence quarantine for a lot of folks. Because I know I grew up poor and working class, and there were many kids in my neighborhood who didn't leave the block, let alone, I grew up in Chicago. There were kids who lived on the west side who never saw Lake Michigan. And so a lot of times kids' worlds are limited only by what they know and see. So television becomes a way to expose so many young people to what the world has to offer so that they can dream and think and believe and expand their possibilities. And this show will take kids and families around the world on the magical cart, the magical shopping cart that Waffles and Moji use each episode to go off and try to complete an assignment that I have given them because I am the owner of the grocery store that Waffles and Mochi work for. They work for me.
You're
So
the
in
boss.
my spare time, yeah, I'm kind of the boss, except I have this busy bee, who's kind of, like my right hand man. He's a little
He
sarcastic bee.
definitely is.
Yeah, so he may be more of the boss than me. But yeah, I see this as a way of opening up the world to a new set of families and children. So we couldn't be more
Right.
excited about this series. This is the reason why we're working with Netflix to be able to identify and bring to light programming like this that has the potential of changing people's lives, not just the way they eat and the way kids see food, but the way they see themselves in the world.
This makes perfect sense. But if you put it on a board, you'd suddenly see these cute little puppets and wonder, wait a minute, what do they have in
Like,
common?
what's this about?
Right, what is this about? How do
Yeah,
you
yeah.
explain the connective tissue of a waffles and a mochi along with something as important as substantive in a different way, obviously, as American Factory?
Right. As you said at the start of our conversation, meeting people where they are. And right now, parents and families are stuck in their homes trying to figure out how to work and feed themselves. Everybody's in the kitchen. Parents are trying to expose their kids to new foods. These were all conversations and discussions that I started many years ago in the White House. That's what Let's Move was all about. We knew that we needed to make sure that the next generation was healthy, eating right, exercising. And now that we're stuck in our homes, we now are confronted with the realities of how important our health is.
Yeah.
So this show was just a continuation, and I've always said that people learn better with a carrot rather than a stick. So when we were in the White House, Tamron, we always tried to make it fun. We always tried to bring humor and laughter to the work that we did, because on the West Wing side of things, where my husband, the president, was working, it was all serious business. We were dealing with a financial crisis. We were dealing with pandemics back then, except he managed to keep them under control with, world events. That's the serious side. But Americans in the world still needed to be reminded of the beauty and the joy in the world, that children were still there looking for hope and promise. That
Right.
so we were planting vegetables and having, Easter egg rolls that were bigger than any that we'd have before, just reminding this country that there is hope and beauty even as we work hard together and roll up our sleeves and do some of the tough work. So you have to have that
Yeah, you have
balance,
to. Well, listen,
you
you
know.
and you talk a lot about balance with Sasha and Malia, but the reality is, even with those difficult things that are happening, at the end of the day, for some people, that seems so far away. In our
Mhm.
home, not my home, because my kid right now is going through his own food transition, but and that's another, I need therapy for that. But at the end of the day, most parents are just trying to have a better life for their child than they had. And when you look at the food that you're giving your kids now, we know so much more through the work that you've done about what we're putting in our bodies. So you may say, okay, it's easy to give a chicken nugget, but let me try to find something as an alternative to what we've probably all have grown up on, which is a steady diet of fast food, which is fun sometimes, which
Mhm.
is fun a
Yeah,
lot of the
yeah,
times, but that's
that's
not a
right.
part of the right direction that you are leading us in.
Well, and we know that, as we learn with our cartoon taste buds on waffles and mochi, that it takes a kid, a young child, a couple of tries of a new flavor, a new taste. The taste of bitter or
Yeah.
sour is different. So we have to start introducing these foods into their vocabulary, into their diet
Well, do you have
early.
tips though? Because your girls they're older now, Sasha and Malia. So, for all of the parents watching, they've got the
Hmm.
little chefs at home. You put a broccoli in front of a 2-year-old. The
Hmm.
rejection, Mrs. Obama, that you feel.
It's deep. It's
I
just,
read a book recently and it
it's
said, don't take
deep.
it personally when your child won't eat
That's
what
right.
you put in front. So what did you do with Sasha and Malia?
Well, there are two schools of thought. And mine was that if I ask you to do something, you do it. There's that, right? Because it's not just about the vegetables, but it's also, in my view, is about teaching kids to listen.
Yeah.
That when mom tells you that something is important, this is you start early with, so there's that, but then not all kids can understand that rationale. So then you try different types of vegetables. That's what we did. It was just sort of pick one,
Right.
right? You don't have to eat them all, right? You're just now getting so the kids like peas, they like broccoli, they like string beans, so I would do those. I would cut them up into manageable pieces for them. I would give them small assignments, right? So I wouldn't pile on a plate of vegetables and
Wow.
expect them to eat it. You start out with try it. Try 2 or 3. try finishing what's on your plate,
I've
you
been
know?
doing this all wrong, and now
What
you
have you
tell
been
me now,
doing?
22, I've been putting a platter this size in front of my
See,
child.
that that's that's probably a little overwhelming, Tamron. You know, it's
What?
sort of like, I gotta eat a whole head of lettuce, Mom?
Listen,
Really?
I've been
I
texting
am
you
a
for
baby.
22 months to come on and give me this advice. Do you know how directionless I've been without waffles and mochi now? Okay, before I
Well,
go,
the other thing that's helpful though is getting making them a part of the process.
right.
So he's got his little, his little toy utensils. Help him cut up. Give him the assignment to cut up the
Right.
vegetables and to be a part of the process, because when you get them in the kitchen and they feel like they're a part of it, you know, they they're more likely to try something that they think they've controlled.
This will be my ringtone. And so whenever Moses gives me any trouble, I'm going to say, did you not hear? Listen, do you know who just told you? I didn't tell you to eat
See,
your vegetables. Mrs. Obama
you're
did.
gonna you're gonna make Moses hate me.
No,
And when I meet him, I want him
no,
to run and
you,
be like, "Oh no, it's that vegetable lady." Like,
no.
no, do not only associate me with things you're trying to get him to do.
Okay, I
You
promise
sit
to.
him down in lap, you read him a nice book and say, "Mrs. Michelle Obama is a lovely lady." And when you see her, don't scream running from her.
I,
All
I
right?
promise. I promise. And you know what other story I will tell him? I've never told this publicly. Years ago, when I was a reporter in Chicago, well before then Senator Obama started his incredible journey, I was at an event. Fun fact: I was wearing some white pants, and the
Mm-hmm.
stage at this event that I was moderating was a clear stage. There was this beautiful woman standing by. I turned to her and I said, can you look at the back of my pants and tell me if my underwear are showing? She said, go up there, turn around. Oh, you're fine. That woman, Michelle Obama. I said, well before everyone got to fall in love with you, I personally fell in love with you with the most epic wardrobe malfunction ever
Well,
seen.
you can say, Tamron, that Michelle Obama always had your back, girl.
Okay, I'm done. I'm gonna fall on this floor in a dress I don't own that I wore just for you.